welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me. On this one, we're going to do things a little differently due to other circumstances, human error on my part. We're going to do this video this way. I'm going to have to go over just doing like a recap of the show, and I'll show you what happened. And then after that, the next video, we'll start just doing them this way where you could watch it as they're being simulated. Since we're here, I guess we could show you a couple of things. Marigold, Rossi not making any friends out there. He's going to war with New Japan, and he is at war with Stardom. So Marigold is off to a rough start in my save. The titles, I could show you those. We have yet to crown champions, obviously, but I just thought it was cool here to have all their old lineages from when they went to WWE. And if we scroll down, even back to its WCW days, except for the women's, I made that one. Even though they have the looking picture there, I made this one when I started the save. Yeah, that was cool. So just thought I'd wanted to show you that for a bit. All right, let's see. Don't mind the pay-per-view names. None of those matter. I think the only ones I've got are the first three. And after that, it's just whatever they were named by default. But both shows got a 67. Not the best of ratings, but not the worst. So it's whatever. And we can skip ahead to see what happened, but I'll just go ahead and talk through all these anyways. Pre-show bout. Charlie Dempsey picked up the win over Kevin Thorne. I am going to switch him over into the Mordecai character. He's not going to stay as the vampire Kevin Thorne. I am going to switch him over. I just got to, get him some time on these pre-show matches and get him known with the viewers so they don't get all pissy whenever he's somewhere on the card. Yeah, I think Charlie Dempsey picked up the win here. Our second pre-show match, EC3 picked up the win over Chris Masters here. See, I wish the recap, it doesn't tell me exactly how it happened, and I don't remember offhand, but I'm pretty sure it was he got him to tap out. I think EC3 put him in a submission and got Chris Masters to tap. I'm not sure though. Can I just go this for the next one? Or does that take forever? No, yeah, whatever. Alright. Opening match. Hammerstone gets a little measure of revenge and gets a win over Austin Theory. This one I kind of do remember a little bit about it. If I remember correctly, I had Austin Theory lose off of a distraction when R-Truth, Ron Killings, comes running out there and, starts waving down Austin Theory and trying to get his attention and tell him something. And that's when Hammerstone took advantage and, took the win over Austin Theory. Yeah, here it is. We had a backstage angle. After the match, Austin Theory loses. He heads to the back and he runs into Ron Killings again. He's like, what? What was so important that you had to come out there? You cost me a match. And he's like, and Ron Killings tells him, look, man, I found proof that things aren't right here in WWE. And there's more of us here from before. And just come on, follow me. I'll show you. And he heads off to the back, and Austin Theory just sits there shaking his head in disbelief. And oh my God, how am I going to get through to this guy that we're in a different company? Here, Kyle O'Reilly picked up the win over Shelton Benjamin. Give me 1 second. Well, yeah, here we have Kyle O'Reilly picking up the win over Shelton Benjamin. Shelton, of course, I have him here in a singles match because as we saw last week on the last show, um, Charlie Haas went and overdosed, and so he's going to be gone for quite a bit of time. So I had to think of something else for Shelton. So I had to throw him in a match. Unfortunately, he didn't get the win here, but I do have other things planned for Shelton. And, hopefully a speedy recovery to Charlie Haas, and hopefully he makes it back soon. I think it was something like 5 months he's going to be gone. 5 months, 6 months, something like that. Is that the right one? No. This one. Oh, it is the right one. Okay, yeah. So here, we have an interview with JoJo in the back. AJ's there. They're talking about what's been happening lately, and the brewing problems between her and Ashley Flair. When all of a sudden, who else should show up but Ashley Flair? She shows up and she says, she just reiterates herself from the weeks before that WCW is Flair country. She's there to make her mark on the place and to become the champion. And that's all there is to it. She sticks her hand up in AJ's face and kind of muffs her before leaving. Still maybe perhaps with her mind on Ashley Flair. AJ here does not get the victory. Tessa Blanchard ends up picking up the win. Um, at one point, I think I did have Ashley Flair come out and maybe attack. I think I had her attack AJ either towards the end of the match or right after the end of the match. But Ashley Flair, played a big part in this loss here for AJ. Off to the back again, we have these four in a big brawl again. After a while, security and other road agents are able to break it up and keep them apart. And they're promised that go handle it out in the ring, and we'll give you guys a match. So go do that, and off they all went. Featured attraction: the team of Adam Copeland and Christian Cage picking up the win here again over FTR. And again, just as the time before, they did it through less than scrupulous means. They're resorting to dirty, underhanded tactics. Uh, thumb to the eyes, rake to the eyes, whatever, low blow, anything whenever the ref's not looking or otherwise preoccupied. Anything it takes to win, these guys did it. Ugh, this one didn't do so well, but I had high hopes for this match. I really liked this, but Moose versus Samoa Joe, with Samoa Joe picking up the win here. You know, because if anyone's running things out in Atlanta, it's Samoa Joe. All right, so here we have another backstage um, interview with JoJo. This time, her guest is Kenny Omega, and she says pretty much, looks like everybody else out there wants to know, and the WCW fans, why did he attack AJ Styles? To which Kenny Omega says, he's not here to talk about AJ Styles. He said he's here to talk about something more important than AJ Styles, and that is none other than himself, Kenny Omega. So he's just basically here just to put himself over and, hype himself up, and he just is really dismissive of everything to do with AJ Styles or anything like that. Jay White picking up the win here against Zack Sabre Jr. Poor Zach just can't catch a break here lately. This match, the segment, I swear the crowd reaction was a lot better, which I'm really too bad. It's a little bit. Oh well, let's see, they have an in-ring performance down there at the bottom, but the crowd reaction that was a little bit better instead of just showing me the segment rating. But that's alright. Like I said, for the next video, we'll be back to regular, and it shouldn't be a problem. Steve Austin is back out here again with us, getting the what chants going and doing all that. He's got his beers with him, his Steve Weisers. When he comes back out, he said this time he's out here to tell everyone that he forgot to mention last time. When the pay-per-views come up, of course, all the titles will be on the line. All four of them will be on the line. Was it four or was it five of them? I don't remember. Anyways, doesn't matter. All the titles will be up for grabs, and he wishes everyone good luck. Here we have a backstage angle. AJ Styles. It's basically I just had him, on his way out to the ring, just talking into the camera, mainly talking to Omega, telling him he's gonna pay for what he did, and once he gets his hands on him out in the ring, we'll see what's going on, and he'll get all his answers there. Except for out in the ring, once they finally get to this match going, Kenny Omega resorts to blatant cheating in front of the ref's view on purpose just to get disqualified. And there's like six. Oh, you're all right. Sorry, my dog was hacking something up. And then that's exactly what happens. Kenny Omega gets himself disqualified. AJ Styles picks up the win. And before anything further can happen, Omega hightails it out of the ring and gets out of there. So that was the show. Got the same rating as our last one. The angles with AJ Styles and Steve Austin did the best. So let's see. That was the show. Like I said, next for the next show, the next episode, we'll be back to watching the matches live as they're simulated, so we can get more of a better rundown on what went good and what went bad with the matches. While we're still here, I showed you the titles already. Let's take a look at what's going on out there in the rest of the wrestling world. Not many big changes yet. I'm only, a couple of weeks in, so not really much has had a lot to change. Let's see. Okada's the Continental. Mercedes Moné's the TBS. Daniel Garcia. Mariah May. Yeah, see, not too much has changed. I don't remember if I showed you the titles for my child company, Power Plant Wrestling. Here we are. So they have their international title, which is like, their main title. Juice Robinson as their champ. Austin Aries as their nationwide champ. Their tag team champs are AJ Francis and Sonny Kiss. Actually, when I was in the actual child company tab and looking at their roster, this team is named Bad Reputation. So, good old Flop Dollar and Sonny Kiss out here still doing something. And their World Women's Champion, ODB. Get it. So that's their titles. These are other people currently on their roster. I'm not going to go through them all, but they got some noticeable names like ACH, Flop Dollar. They got Angelina Love, Austin Aries, Big Swole, if anybody remembers her from early AEW. Let's see who else. Daniel Garcia pulling double time with here too. Not that guy. D-Jack. They have D-Jack. Effie's there. Jordan Grace accepted a contract with them. And this save, she hasn't made it to WWE yet. She works for TNA and us now, and whoever DPW is. Oh my god, I just realized they have Marco Stunt. Oh my goodness, what is my child company doing? Oh, but they do got Mickey James. I saw Mustafa Ali in there. There he is, yep. They got Corbin. He's one of their major stars there. Oh, they also got a Fatu. Zilla. So yeah, that's them. Good for them. They got the one tag team, which is their tag team champs, which is Flop Dollar and Sunny Kiss. Yeah, there was that. All right, so again, like I said, sorry for the lack of better video than before, but we'll be back to seeing the live matches as they're simulated on the next video. On this one, I just kind of had to tough it out and stick with the recap because, like I said, human error on my part. But all right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.